Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of The Cosmic Barbecue with me, Matt in the Real World, Mikey J. Shields, and Jim, damn it, Dinosaur Pile Up. What's up?
What is going on?
How are you guys?
That's an intro, Jim.
Love that energy.
Yeah.
So I'm using my, for everyone listening, I'm using my studio microphone because I'm in Studio ATM. Writing some
Matt has
new
leveled up.
stuff.
Yeah.
I've leveled up, guys. I've gone pro. Okay, I've gone pro. The thing is about
Me and
that.
Jim sweating it out. Old school.
I ain't doing it anymore. I'm done. I'm done with that. However, I very easily could be doing this all wrong, and it could be sounding crappy. So I hope it's not. Sure. I just hope it sounds good.
If we say you've leveled up, it might all absolutely not work at all.
Yeah, it might be a complete failure. This might even never air. You never know. What are we chatting about?
Well,
what are we chatting about today? I'm looking at producer Mike, really.
Today, guys, it's been a few weeks since we've done one of these actually, so we're gonna just sort of ease back in with just a little musing that I had. So we talked about like simulation theory and things like that before, and I thought, what about if we could time travel and go back in time and at any point in our lives, from when we got into music to now, if you could go back in time and have a word with yourself and give yourself one bit of advice, or one sort of a bit of advice, or like, don't do this, for example, something specific that's happened where you could split the path and be like, right,
wow.
What would you go back and tell yourself? Obviously, you probably have to be disguised because you'd freak yourself out if you just saw yourself.
Yeah,
Totally.
you could change it almost too much by surprising yourself.
Yeah,
From
because then you'd be like, well, the whole fabric of space and time is
totally.
compromised.
If you turned up as you looking at you, and I mean, you'd fuck your own life by just doing that.
Yeah, so that's the other part of the question is how would you dress? What's your disguise?
I'm gonna go back in time as you, Mike, and tell my younger self, join Dinosaur Pile Up earlier. You know what? Or someone whispering in my ears, move to Leeds.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it would have been so fun if you were up in Leeds with us.
Yeah, that would have been great, dude.
I know, I've missed out on that whole part of the whole part of the history.
Maybe I'd dress as Father Christmas. You know when you go and sit on Father Christmas's lap in a grotto and get your photo taken.
Oh my god, that's actually such a good plan.
Mine would be that. So I'd sit down as a kid, and then this Father Christmas would be like, don't whatever, like, dude,
don't learn the guitar, kid.
Keep playing drums.
Yeah, make a streaming service called Spotify.
Wait, so you're sitting on your own lap?
Yeah,
kinda.
The kid's like, I recognise those eyes, the steely eyes.
That dude's hands are weirdly big. Wait,
what happened to us, bro? Yeah, well, so yeah, what do you think you could go back and like important piece of advice to you as a kid, or even when you've just started the band, or when you started playing an instrument?
That's such a good question, man. I mean, I'm thinking of loads of things like now, not just band related. One superficial kind of thing comes to mind immediately. I'd really commit to learning skateboarding, because that's one of my biggest regrets, that I never properly committed to skateboarding.
Absolutely, I'm totally on that page with you.
Yeah, I love skateboarding so much,
and I see Andy's
terrible
stories.
at it.
See Andy's stories of him just cruising around. Andy from Turbo Wolf.
I was talking to him about that. I saw Andy last week, obviously because I was up in Bristol briefly, and I saw Andy and I was talking to him about that. All those stories that he's always putting up. I'm like, oh, dude, it's painful to watch, because I'm like, you should have learned harder.
Yeah,
should have tried harder.
I gave up way too easy on that.
Yeah, you're actually pretty good though, Jim. Like, you're quite sick. You can.
Yeah, but the last time I skateboarded, I fell over and broke a rib. So
I
don't know.
That's true. I remember that. Where were we when you did that?
That was that venue.
I can't remember.
That was us
but
playing
it was
in the car park of that place, right? Wasn't that at the festival?
Yeah, it was so
You
lame.
winded
I was
yourself.
just
Riff Fest.
I was just trying to stop, and I just fell off.
I think it was Riff Fest.
Wasn't it Riff
Yeah,
Fest?
I think it was. WRIF.
It was Riff Fest. I remember because we went down to, we got the little golf buggy from the car park round to the sort of where
the catering was and stuff, right?
Where the catering was. We went to catering, and you had a skateboard, someone's skateboard with you, and you were like fucking around whilst we were waiting for the kind of golf buggy back, and you fucked it, and we were like, "You right?" And you were like, "I'm actually not."
Yeah.
Well done, Jim. Good.
Yeah.
So that's Jim's moment. He's going to go back, dress as a wizard, and take the skateboard away from himself.
Yeah. Don't do the kickflip.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Do not flip the kick, Jim. Yeah, so on a superficial level, yeah, I'd learn skateboarding. Also, by the way, just a side note, FYI, if I had a superpower, it would be to be like a sort of unharmable skateboarder. So like, you know, in Tony Hawk's, like when you're playing Tony Hawk's, you never hurt yourself. You can fucking grind your face down a staircase and you're totally fine. You just get back on the board immediately.
Yeah.
I wish that was my superpower. Like, unbelievable.
But the dude looks like he feels pain.
Yeah, so I wouldn't.
Oh, right.
And I'd also never fall off. I'd never. Basically, I could do anything. I'd be the sickest skateboarder ever. But if I did fall off, I never get hurt. You know, so I'd be this like globally renowned.
Like he's never wiped out.
Michael. Yeah, and he can do fucking ridiculous shit. I'd be like the Michael Jordan of skateboarding that can never be harmed. You know. So like just unbelievable alien talent on a skateboard. That's what I kind of wish I, if I could do anything, it'd be that. Sure.
I mean, yeah. Of all the things you could choose, that's quite an interesting one. Fair enough. I mean, not flying, not invisibility, not like super strength, none of that. Just
invincible skateboarder.
Yeah.
Invincible skateboarder.
Just the cleanest ollie you've ever seen.
Just
it's
unbelievable. Yeah. Oh, pure. Yeah, on a superficial level, the skateboarding thing, I'd learn skateboarding.
Yeah. And become a Tony Hawk's character. Yeah.
But in kind of like answer to the question on a sort of deeper level, I sort of think of two things. And one is at the beginning of the band, and one is me as a child.
Yeah.
And I think... And they're both, I mean, in a way, maybe it's the same point. But like, if you could go back and tell yourself something, and it actually affect you and sink in, because I'm sure as a child,
well, that's part of the disguise thing as well, right? Because if you're wearing something like not sort of with any authority, you're just going to disregard whatever the person's telling you. Like, you're just turning up looking like a wizard. They're like, fuck off, weird wizard, dude.
Yeah.
Why is that wizard telling me not
would
to?
Would you? I wouldn't. I'd be like, that's dope. You're the coolest
weird
thing I've
wizard
ever seen.
guy that looks kind of like me.
Yeah. I'd probably remember that for the rest of my life, to be honest with you.
Yeah, true.
Father.
Don't leave me again.
You've returned. What was I going to say? Yeah, what I was going to say, and you're right about the dress thing, is I'm sure throughout my life and throughout your guys' lives as well, I'm sure we've all been told golden nuggets of wisdom that were really, really important. And we've just
disregard it. Yeah. I actually think what I would tell myself is definitely something someone would have told me, and I just didn't do it.
Oh, have you got something, Jim?
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember. Actually, no. I think we need to let Matt finish his thing, and then I'll get into mine.
Okay.
Don't forget that though, because I'm actually really intrigued by that. I'm wondering if Jim. Yeah. I'm wondering if Jim's going to drop this bombshell of knowledge, be like, "Oh my,
profound,
fuck.
life-changing."
Yeah. Why didn't you tell us this earlier, Jim?
Oh my god, it's really not that impressive. This is going to be such a letdown.
We can't put this podcast out now. We know the secret.
Yeah. I wonder if like we've all been told it like the beginning of the band when we were on the road after some show, probably
some old
fucking
roadie.
Too pissed, and some wise old roadie told us something so important and we just totally blacked out. Didn't remember anyway. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, like I think as a kid, because I was always like a really nervous kid. I was a really neurotic and nervous kid, and then, you know, sort of later as a slightly older kid, but still a kid, I was, you know, potentially even more neurotic, and always like worrying about everything and like, you know, stressed out kid. And I think as a kid and as a young dude starting Dinosaur or whatever, or even in my previous bands as well, it's all linked. I think if someone could have just said, how would you word this? If someone could have just like sat me down and said, do exactly what the fuck you want because you absolutely have the strength and capability and belief in yourself to do it. So don't let anyone else in your head at all. And like everything you're imagining you can do, you fucking can do. So don't let anybody in your head, because I feel like
you question yourself a bit too much. Is that what you?
I feel like I potentially lacked confidence and I questioned myself, and often that I think was brought on by letting negative people in my head.
Right.
So hearing what they would say and that and keeping that information, and in hindsight, I'm like, what? Like, why was I affected by that? Because.
But do you think that's affected your output, or do you think that's just affected your like demeanor, or both?
No, I think it affected my because I'm like a super driven and motivated person, and I believe in myself, my capabilities a lot and stuff. But I feel like maybe it just slowed me down a bit, you know, because I would then question myself, and I maybe wouldn't have the confidence just to fucking walk out and be like, yeah, I'm fucking great. I'm gonna do this. Fuck everybody else. And which is kind of the attitude I have now. But I'm 35 now. You know, like I feel like I sort of know myself better and I own myself as a person now. Whereas as a young kid, but definitely as the guy that started Dinosaur, maybe I didn't feel like that, you know, and I wasn't owning myself. And I feel like. Yeah, I feel like that would be something that I wish I could go back and be like, dude, you fucking got this. Just fucking keep charging. Don't listen to everybody else.
Sure.
You know? I feel like that would be it.
I feel like what you kind of described is like what growing up really is like getting used to who you are as a person and being comfortable in your own skin and realizing, like you said, that you can achieve stuff. And I look at some of these like younger artists or young successful people who either seem to have their shit together or do have their shit together, and I'm like, I'm so jealous. Like, how did you get it all together and get it all right that young? When I was like questioning everything like you, and didn't know, you know, fucking which way was up. And then there's people just like ultra successful, just like really young, like fucking how, why?
I mean, I feel like you see, it's weird. Like when we were kids, like social media didn't exist, and I feel like kids now that they're growing up with an iPhone and they're looking at Instagram every day and stuff, and so you're seeing success, you're seeing success, you're seeing like how people do it, you're seeing what people are doing. So as a 9-year-old or as a 14-year-old, we literally didn't have that. So I was sort of like wandering around my house being like, I wonder what Dave Grohl's like, and, you know, I wonder what being in a band's like, and this t-shirt is kind of nerdy or whatever.
Yeah.
But now, like, you can look at Instagram and be like, okay, that's a fucking pop star, or that's a rock star. That like that's what they're wearing, that's what they're doing. Yeah. It's like you're being shown all this stuff. So I think it's a lot easier to be like, okay, cool, I'm going to do that, you know. Whereas I honestly think that really affects people's sort of like roadmap, I guess. You know, you can sort of see stuff.
It's so different now for like the way technology has advanced just since we were teenagers to now. And whenever anybody asks me like, oh, what advice do you have for anybody starting a band now? I'm like, honestly, the world that you're coming into, like with music is so different to the one that even we started in, that I literally wouldn't have any idea where to start.
Totally. Like 100%. I get asked, a lot of people send me messages about that on Instagram as well, and I feel the same. It's really,
I'm like,
really
it
hard
seems
to
like
answer.
now you just nail your social media and hopefully you've got some decent tunes, and that's all you need to do, right? Like,
yeah.
Kinda.
I mean, I always think it does come back to the songs.
Yeah.
But it's a different game. Like, if you've got fucking great songs and you crush your social media, then it seems like that's just the ticket, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. It's so funny when like people ask you that, like, how, you know, hey, I'm a young manager. I manage this band. Like, do you have any advice of like blah, blah, blah? Or like, hey, we're a young band, like we're just starting out, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you have any advice and stuff? And it's like, sometimes it's so hard to answer because it's like, dude, I have no fucking idea how we're still here. Like, no idea how we've managed to crawl through all the fucking shit-filled tunnels that we've somehow crawled through to end up 13 years later still making records. I'm just like, I have no advice for you.
I think just be prepared to fucking grind and like work jobs if you have to, and do everything that's needed,
Totally.
and know that at no point is any of this a given. And I think that breaks a lot of people. It's just the uncertainty and being like, I can't rely on this, I'm out. Loads of bands who like got further than we have or been way more successful than we have just gave up because they're like, well, also that's the other thing. The lifestyle is quite difficult. If you're being on the road a lot, if you're like in a band rather than a pop artist, and that's where most of your money comes from, it's demanding. It's fucking demanding.
Yeah.
And it's a lifestyle that's suited to like a younger person a lot more, because you're like, fuck yeah, I get to travel the world, I get to see all this shit. And as you get older, you're like, I've seen the world a few times now. My bones are starting to ache.
I'm fucking knackered.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think that's a good point though, Mike. You said it's about like you've got to be prepared to grind, and you've got to. That's actually thinking about it. That's something like in my answer to people, because obviously I always try and answer everybody. One of the most important things I'll say, however long or short the message is you've got to know that you fucking love it. Like, you live and die by doing it. Because if you're like half in, you know, then it's not for you, because like you have to sacrifice so much and like fucking, like you said, like grind. So you've got to know like, if I don't do this with my life, I am fucking done with everything. You know, it's like it has to be that serious.
100%. We've also got really lucky, I think, in the span of our career as Dinosaur, to just be surrounded by the right people. And you especially, Matt, have made like difficult decisions to change people in the teams, like when it's not been right, which you have to be quite ruthless to do. But in terms of like the major players, considering we've never had like a top 10 hit or whatever, and we've had this longevity and we're still able to do it, it's testament to the team as much as anything.
Totally, you know, totally.
So that's part of its luck.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt, it's, you know, part of its luck, being in the right place, right time, the right people.
That'd be one of the things. Like early on, would be like, find Adam Greenup. They'd be like, who? Find Adam Greenup. That's all you have to do. Find and meet Adam Greenup as
find
soon
him
as
now.
possible.
So true. Yeah.
So our
Get
manager
your yellow
for anybody
pages
who
out
doesn't know.
and find Adam Greenup.
Yeah.
You know what though? In thinking about words of wisdom, Adam, who, like Mike just said, but to anyone that hasn't listened to the previous pods or whatever, Adam is our UK manager. We have a sort of management team around the world. So we have Adam in the UK and Bill McGathy and Vinny and the whole Indigoot team in the US, and they're all like one team. But we've known Adam for many years now, because I guess we got involved with Adam on Nature Nurture, which is a while ago now. But talking about words of wisdom, Adam for me is actually that person. He's given me many words of wisdom, which don't ask me to recall any right now because I probably can't on the spot. But
like naming all of the Tom Cruise films.
Some great.
Well, I mean, that is
What a party
unbelievable. Unbelievable wisdom. Yeah, what a party trick. Incredible. But he's a really wise, like, person to me, like a
Yeah.
kind of mentor figure. Quite cool. I'm really intrigued to hear Jim's. I'm still waiting on that, so I want you to bust it open,
Right,
Jim.
I'm prepared.
Okay, yes.
I'm prepared
All
for
right,
the
here we
game
go.
to be changed.
It's actually in
change my game.
sentiment, Matt. It's actually really similar to yours. It's just about like on a personal level. I think about this quite a lot even now, and I'm 35 this year. I spent so much time of being a kind of teenager trying to impress people that I didn't need to.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
totally.
So I would go back and tell myself, like, there's a bunch of people, I suppose it's like about cliques and school and stuff like that, and always kind of striving to be in that kind of upper like rung of kids, I guess. Yeah. And I spent so much time, and actually this kind of ties into the skateboarding thing, because I stopped skateboarding so much because I was doing stuff I didn't want to do, because I wanted to try and be friends with people who, who either weren't reciprocating, or it was just
the wrong group
it was
of
just a
friends,
massive waste of time.
Yeah.
Just the wrong group of people. And I do see a couple of them now, like those people still, but they're different people, and I don't feel like I am.
They're all smackheads.
And they're all smackheads.
Weird.
So I guess there's that. And I remembered recently, like, when I was signing up to go to a bunch of art schools and things, and at my school it was kind of you kind of go off and do like academic degrees and things, and not many people went off from there to go to art school. And I remember my art teacher telling me, like, quite earnestly, he was like, "Why do you feel like you need to impress that lot over there?"
Really?
I was like, "Yeah."
No way.
He was called Paul Della, and I don't know where he is now, but he's a fucking legend.
He was
And
called
the one who
Crim
sort of-
Jatchley.
Crim. Yeah. Can you
Strange.
imagine? That was me. All that.
Yeah. Oh
that
my
was-
god, he could have
He
been you,
was you.
dude.
That was me.
Fuck.
You didn't fucking
Crim
listen.
Jatchley.
Crim.
You
And I didn't
fucking
listen.
Oh
No.
You travel back in time.
He's
Oh,
like, what can I
There
call
it
myself?
is.
Paul Dallas.
that's a really interesting thought. Can we write a movie? Can we make a movie? Can we like write a screenplay about this? Because this is fucking wicked.
Yeah,
Like Looper. Have you seen that film?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
fucking
amazing
great
film.
so many plot holes in
Yeah.
that. Though.
Awesome.
Fuck you know, we could get into it.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I haven't got
Mike.
into that. Maybe, should we do that on the next
Ruin
pod?
it for me. He always loves ruining shit for me. Stuff I love. He's like, oh yeah, but the plot holes though, man. Oh, bullshit.
Don't like
You
that.
can
That's
still
bullshit.
enjoy
Cheers,
it with
mate.
the knowledge, though.
No, I can't. You've ruined it.
I'm 35 years old. And I'm still desperately trying to be friends with Mikey Shields, even though he doesn't want to be my friend. He just hates everything I love.
I think that's so. I think that's so true, though, Jim. Like,
Yeah, and I
get,
realised
like-
way too late. And it's just such,
Yeah.
like, you look back on, like, I didn't enjoy school because of that, and I
Oh,
just look
dude,
back
it
at what I was
sucks.
like, and I was like, you didn't need to be that guy. And I still see all
Yeah.
the people I was friends
Ah.
with, and I don't know why I was, not happy with that, and it's just a bit sort of odd.
When you're that age, though, you have no experience, and the school is everything. Like
That is true.
you've not seen
yeah.
your world, like the world. You don't know anything. Like it's like being in a computer game where it's like undiscovered map. Everything's grey, and the only thing you know or are aware of is the social things that are happening in your school, because it takes up like literally your whole
Totally.
mental capacity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if in that moment you've made those
Totally.
decisions, it's because that's all you knew.
Yeah.
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 like as a kid, you're right. Your school is kind of your world, and the politics and the social hierarchy and all of that bullshit is everything you think
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like what Jim's point, like, feels like it's sort of tied to a similar thing of what I was saying. It's just about like
Being confident in
fucking-
who you are, I suppose.
exactly
Yeah.
just do you, man. Like
Yeah.
Did you know anybody at school who was like just themselves and just was confident? And I think I knew one person who was like that.
Yeah, I can sort of think of a couple, and actually they fucking smashed it. Like Faris from The Horrors was at my school.
Oh yeah,
right.
And he was never anyone else. Like he was
Yeah.
always that guy.
right.
He was always like, he was the weird sort of goth kid that at the beginning no one wanted to be friends with, and everyone then realized how cool he was. And I'm talking
Yeah.
about being at school. Like people still thought he was cool just because he was himself.
in many ways, like, it's like, because at school I was kind of just this weird kid that was kind of friends with everybody. Like I was just friends with everybody. Like all the really cool kids. I wasn't like part of anyone's gang really, but like they liked me, I liked them, and the nerds, I liked them and they liked me. Like I was just this, you know, I was kind of just friends with everybody.
Same.
Like,
I was literally the same.
I just didn't
from group
mind.
to group, that kind of vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Looking back now, really the people that weren't putting up any pretense and they were just being themselves were usually the uncool, in like quotation marks, uncool kind of nerds or whatever that liked whatever, like climbing and were really good at like maths and chemistry, and really they were just fucking doing them.
Yeah.
Like they weren't trying to be anyone else. They were fucking just doing them. Like they liked weird sort of alternative sports like rock climbing, and they liked
Warhammer.
they were like Warhammer, you know, fucking love that.
The sport of Warhammer.
Like, just, do you know what I mean? Like, I used to fucking paint Warhammer obsessively. I fucking love that shit. But what I was going to say was like, really, it's funny, isn't it? Because the more you grow up, like now I don't know, I guess I'm a man now. But like,
wow,
when
that was
you
a profound realization.
Yeah.
Whoa, I guess I'm a man now.
I am a man. Like, I guess now, like when I see people, when I see kind of people like that, I'm like, yeah, that's sick. You just did what you wanted to do. Like, you know, now really when you meet those people that were probably those kids at school, they're the super nice people that you think are just rad because they just do their own shit. They weren't, too, you know, they're not like too fussed about the people's perception of them and stuff. And I
imagine growing up and you're still like, geek. Oh, look at these geeks.
Right? Like, can you imagine? Yeah. Like
in
me,
like
I'm
American
just really
Pie or
successful
something.
at my job. Yeah. Like you just never grow out of it. Like it's so weird. The history does seem to repeat itself because the cliches in those films are always true. Like the cool kids end up being like the dropouts and never achieving anything.
Yeah. Mikey, what's yours, man? What would your time travel wisdom nugget be? I wish I could go back in time and tell you something.
What would you do?
Yeah, what would you? You'd be like, "Don't cut your hair."
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Don't you dare cut
your long hair."
But I haven't grown it yet. You will grow it, and you will slay.
It will be majestic.
You shall slay it. Sorry. What would you? Yeah, what's yours?
I think just to kind of worry a bit less. I know it's a really difficult one, but I spent a lot of time growing up just worrying about money. I think that's kind of a byproduct of like pursuing being in a band that hasn't ever like had the windfall of like properly making it in quotation marks, I suppose.
Yeah.
And just now I'm like, everything kind of works out. It does always work out. You're going to work hard. You're going to achieve it. So just enjoy the ride a bit more and worry a bit less, I think. Because I don't know. I don't know if there's any piece of advice we could give ourselves to, I'd make ourselves more successful. I guess maybe like holding back on the first album and not releasing that when we did.
Yeah, that totally. Talking about specifics of like, if I could change anything, it would be that I would have waited on the first record and written more. I would wait because I love that record and it's great, but we just needed a undeniable single. Or I would have like you know what? I would have. You know what? Here we go. I would have gone back in time. I would have gone back in time to me sat in that shitty little flat when I'd written Growing Pains. And I would have appeared, or I don't know, like knocked on the door of some weird delivery driver.
Oh, yeah, weird.
Yeah.
You went delivery driver. I
weird.
Posted. Okay.
Yeah. And I would say the one piece of advice I would give myself is write a chorus for rock and roll. That's it. Just write a chorus for my rock and roll, bro. Don't go to the that's not a chorus. What is that? I don't know. No one knows. It's not a chorus though. So I would say, that's money. You've got a money song there, dude, but you need to write a big old chorus. And that's what I would have said in specifics.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. That's a nice little insight there for everybody who loves that song. They'll be like, "Fuck no, it's killer."
I mean, I love, like, for everyone listening, like, I love my rock and roll, but I always, in hindsight, now that I feel like I've learned more as a songwriter, and and as a person and stuff, I always listen to that song and be like, the verse is just fucking great. It's got something magic about it, but it just needed that big payoff
Such
chorus.
good energy. You're right. Yeah.
It's got a real energy, and it pisses me off that no one in the team at that point told me that.
Yeah.
Maybe just said, "Hey man, that's a fucking great song you got there, but it could be really big if you maybe like, why don't you just try and throw a chorus in there?"
What?
Or, yeah. Fuck you.
You're fired.
You're fired. But I wish maybe that had happened. But like, whatever. You win some, you lose some.
Bat Migland always trying to tell you to write choruses. There's an old man, Bat Migland. You're like in your team. He's got like a weird delivery driver beard.
He's always wearing a UPS outfit, even in meetings. It's weird.
All of your visits to your past selves have been uniformed, Matt.
Yeah.
Uniformed men.
What was I going to say though? I was going to say something about. Hold on, here it is. Oh yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Before we got into the specifics, there, you said about you worrying about money. Because we never had the windfall of being like making it in quotation marks or whatever. I think that's a really good point. And obviously, like when you joined the band and I'd been doing the band for a couple of years, and then we were in the band together, we were, I was also victim of that. Like I used to worry about money all the time. And even till recently, and even now, like we're always worried about like how we're going to continue and like where's the next check coming from to make sure that we're safe for the next year or whatever. So we're always thinking about that journey and stuff. But enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. Don't focus on the finish line. You have to enjoy the journey because it's actually about the journey. That is something that Adam has said to me many times before when I'm worrying about these, in the end, superficial things that are really turning something amazing in my mind into something not amazing. Like what we've achieved and what we're doing is amazing. But if you're worrying about the lack of money and worrying about where it's going, all this
you can't be in the moment.
In your mind, that,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't be in the moment, and you sort of mar. Yeah. You're kind of you're marring something that is amazing, and you should be proud of, and you should be excited about. You're turning that into something that's sort of poisoned because you're just worrying about this bullshit. So Adam often says to me, dude, like you're in it. You're in the fucking incredible bit. When you fucking get to the finish line and you make it, you look back at all this fucking amazing shit and hard times and all this stuff. When you stood on the finish line, you just stood on the finish line. It's done. But this is the whole ride and the journey to that point. That is the fucking thing. Like that's the amazing thing that you're going to remember. And I'd really agree with that. And the sort of longer we do this, the more I see that. And of course I worry about the finances of the band and like how we make it work and all of that. But I sort of have way more perspective now than I used to. So I think that is something.
No, that's good. Elaborating on my point, I like it.
Yeah. I have to.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're going. My fingers are actually shriveled. That's how hot I am. I'm sweating so much. It's like I'm in a bath, and my laptop started making a weird noise. So,
are you, Mike? Are you under a duvet today?
Yeah, I made a fatal error.
Yeah, I've gone towel today. We should point out it's really hot still, but we should point out that I think it's something like 33, 34 degrees out today, isn't it? It's like,
it was like 36.
Unbelievably hot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the studio wearing almost nothing, so it's the whole thing is weird. Mike, are you leading up to you need to bounce?
No, I just to make sure we can actually get the audio from this and the laptop doesn't burn out. Just keep it. We can just obviously cut this a little bit, but keep it a bit short for the next bit.
Well, we don't have to cut it.
Okay,
I don't want to
cool.
cut this
Here's
little bit.
the inside.
I quite like it. I like this bit.
Here's the reality of us. Did you guys have anything you wanted to add on that point, or I was going to ask another question?
No, that was it really. Jim?
I actually thought the first thing that popped into my head when you asked me the question was kind of a bass playing question, bass playing sort of thought actually. And I was I've been listening back to a lot of things and like projects I've worked on and stuff, and I used to overplay so much. and it's so annoying. Yeah, overplaying is just the worst. And I think there's a lot of bass players who maybe feel like bass isn't in the forefront.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to compensate for that by kind of being flashy.
Did you see that documentary of Chili's making Blood Sugar Sex Magic?
No.
Called Funky Monks. No. It's amazing. It's with Rick Rubin. And they bring all these songs in, and Flea's doing his fucking Flea thing, like taking the bass line all over the shop. And Rick Rubin is like, no, we're not doing that on this album. He's like, just fucking play bass, but like really strip it back. And that was kind of, and that became their biggest album, obviously. Not just because of the bass playing, but it helps that there's no distraction from everything that's going on.
Exactly that. Yeah. So that's just a little tidbit for bass players. I think really think about what you're doing.
I mean, I think that goes for all musicians, really. Like, particularly, I would say, really, particularly drummers. Actually,
so distracting. With the drums.
When a drummer overplays, it fucking grinds my shit. I'm like, dude.
When I was a kid, I remember it just being like an exhibition about like what you can do on drums. And I remember like gigs with local bands, just like everybody just trying to show who could do more or who was like more proficient musically.
Yeah,
and it's so pathetic. And then I think that's something that as you grow up, or maybe you don't ever get into that mentality and early on, and you just write good music and you serve the song. Like that's one of the most important things, isn't it? Like fucking serve the song.
That's exactly it. Think about the song, and the delivery of the song is the most important thing.
Not if you can do triplets for 5 minutes at like 200 BPM, bro. Like nobody cares.
Yeah, I'm listening to this song. Why don't you go and fuck my vibe up completely by putting that fill there where it shouldn't be? Cheers, man. Thanks. Fuck. Fucking hell. It fucking kills me, man. Like when drummers do that. I've never thought you overplayed. If I'm totally honest.
I've
never ever thought that.
I think I've not. I don't think I've had sort of made any mistakes on the Dinosaur records I've played on. I'm really happy with everything I did. I think it's things before that where I thought maybe you're just trying to be a bit clever. And actually, there's one specific song on Tribes' first album. I think it's the last song on that album, and it doesn't fit the swing of the song, what I was doing. And it's just every time I hear it now, I mean, I listen to it so irregularly anyway, but when I do hear it, I'm like, I wish I'd just done that a tiny bit differently.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, I know.
Are there any songs on the albums, Matt, that you wish that not like you've overplayed, but you wish just didn't make it to an album? You're like, that just really should not be on a fucking record.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Like I'm like fucking.
You fall out of love with the songs quite quickly as soon as you've written the next one, I suppose. Anyway.
Yeah, well, it's not that I fall out of love with the songs. It's that I fall in with love with the next ones.
Yeah.
It's like I'm so like whatever you'd call it, like rose tinted glasses with the new stuff because I'm so excited about that. But like I don't know, like. You've put me on the spot here, but there's definitely, like I said, like I feel like I'm learning more every year. I'm writing songs every time I write another song. I feel like I learn something. So, like I feel like when I look back at older stuff, sometimes I'm like, yeah, it's a great song, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, that's not a great song.
Weirdly, like there's nothing on the first album that I'm like, oh, this just sucks. But on 1111, definitely Willow Tree and Give Me Something. I wish we'd just finished.
Yeah, Willow Tree for sure. I mean, like Willow Tree is cool. It should have been 2 minutes long, not however many long. However many minutes it is. Like
I remember playing it live, and I was like, "Fucking hell, we're halfway through, and I'm done. I'm done with this."
Yeah, totally.
Did we only maybe play that once?
Yeah, 2 or 3 times
probably.
Ever.
There's nothing on Celebrity.
No.
Everything on that album's fire to me.
Celebrity was like that the happiest I've ever been with a record for sure. Because I just think it's great. Like, not that I don't think the others are great. It's just I feel like everything about it is in a really good place. Mikey, what's this question? You got me.
I was going to ask you boys, what is your proudest moment of being in the band so far?
Ew.
You can have a couple. I mean. For one for me that definitely stands out is that Summer Sonic that we did.
I was going to say that, man. Was that the one where I was accused of being too drunk? Though? It's bittersweet for me. But that's the one you
the
mean,
one that
right?
in the hangar. Yeah,
Yeah, that was that one. Yeah, that was
what
great.
a fucking experience.
Yeah, that was a wild experience.
Was that the first one? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it was
so,
the first one because we were just blown away by the fact that that warehouse was freaking massive, and it was
And we
full
had no idea,
from front
right?
to back.
We were like, cool, yeah,
no idea.
definitely go to play Japan. Of course, no brainer. Like, hopefully there'll be some people there.
Yeah,
And then just the treatment from the moment you get there, and then like actually getting onto site and seeing how fucking huge it is and how like well taken care of you are as well, like backstage, and then actually walking onto stage and being like, oh fuck, there's actually people here. We've flown like what 13 hours across the world and people have come to listen to this.
I can remember that time as well because we were so jet lagged and it was so hectic, and we were backstage and One OK Rock came to meet us. You remember that?
Yes.
One OK Rock came to meet us, and I guess at that point in our career we had no idea.
Literally no idea.
They are no idea. Like they're so massive. Like play to like 60,000 people in baseball stadiums and stuff, and they like came to meet us and say hey, and we were like, oh hey man, sorry, I've got
we're busy. We're about to go on. Like thanks for coming in and everything. Like
yeah. And then afterwards, like later, like learning who they were, I was like, oh fuck. That was kind of funny.
And maybe the headline show in London, the last Scala show.
Yeah, the Scala one.
Yeah.
That was a moment.
Totally. That was a real moment. Yeah.
All that whole tour, selling out the whole tour was that's massive.
It's so nice to like have a tour
that was
where
amazing.
all the shows are sold out beforehand and you're not asking how many tickets you've sold or how many are left. And then frantically fucking tweeting about it. Like, come on guys, 20 more tickets.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. There's a couple more, I just can't think of them right now. Like obviously the whole like telling my mum when we'd signed to Parlophone or whatever, like that was obviously a huge moment for me and all of us. Because it was like once that happened, it's like, okay, cool, okay. That can never go back. Like whatever happens now, that happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, like that was just so validating.
Especially the timing of it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like the years and years and years and years that we'd put into it, and that like our parents had to worry and all of that shit, that to finally ring up and be like, hey, we've just done this. Like it's in ink on a piece of paper. It was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, like moments like walking on stage in Japan and like, you know, Scala and all of that, you do get like a weird feeling, don't you, when you walk on stage and it's all those people who are out there and they go nuts, and it's like, holy shit, like this is made out of literally nothing. This is just from an idea of being like, I want to fucking do this. We're gonna go and do that. That's what we're gonna do. And then you do it. It is kind of like,
and it's a cliche, but like,
a
you know, we've been lucky enough to support loads of bands, like play to, you know, 15,000 people supporting Muse in Europe, but nothing compares to like, I'd much rather play to 600 or 800 of our fans, however many is in Scala, for a headline show than 15,000. Like, although it's a spectacle and it's wicked to be there, it's just that it's not quite the same.
Totally, but it is really cool to. What is cool about those experiences, because obviously they're really fucking cool, is the fact that you're like, oh shit, like we're walking on stage, on the same stage before a band that's literally influenced my whole life.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've listened to for years, and I'm you know, like walking on, like supporting Muse, supporting Pixies, supporting Weezer, like all, like the list goes on. Like there's so many of those bands, and it's like, that's fucking cool. Like, you know, walking out before Weezer and like talking to the guys and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, like the Blue Album is like literally probably my favorite record of all time, you know, apart from Colour and the Shape or whatever. It's like, that's really fucking cool.
I think the cool thing is being like, all these people are here because they like this band. I fucking love this band. Now I get to share some music that I've made, and hopefully, you know, people dig it as well.
Yeah,
which is a cool experience.
Totally. Yeah, it's just, and it is that, isn't it? It's just a cool experience, and that surely is what life is sort of about. Just like looking back on those experiences and stuff.
Over my shoulder.
See it, baby.
Jim, any specifics?
Completing America.
Yeah, completing America. That's a good one.
Pretty much. I mean, the amount of ground we've covered over there, I'm super proud of, and the fact that the radio love out there is actually sort of, it's kind of in, it's non-tangible, but the fact that we're on the radio, the amount we are out there is a massive achievement.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And we have supported loads of people out there, and it's difficult to know how well you're really doing. And then you go to those little shows like that one in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of nowhere, and there's 1,000 tickets sold or whatever it was.
And then people start line dancing the minute you finish the last note. Yeah. In that venue. I mean,
that was fucking lol. Yeah. Wasn't that the first one I think that was the first one, Mikey, where I think that was the first one Jim had just flown back to take care of Daisy business. That was the first one.
Did I miss that?
That was the first one. Yeah, that was the first one you missed.
Dude, we literally end of back foot, and then maybe 5 seconds. Yeah. So country music.
Honestly, it was unreal.
Music starts playing, and then all the devil horns are down, and people literally synchronized line dancing.
Fuck yes.
Just hoeing down. It was unreal. Us loading out gear with all these cowboys. Oh man,
yeah,
that was wild.
Wicked experience. Where was that?
But, yeah. And that was I know that Ollie pretty much broke his ankle
on the loadout.
Yeah.
But you've done shows with fucking Rolling Stones, Jim, haven't you? With Tribes.
Well, yeah, sort of. It was that British summertime thing.
Yeah.
The festival, but yeah. I don't know. I did those Olympic ceremony shows actually. That was quite a mad one.
That's fucking wild.
I can't remember that. What?
We did 4 shows.
Awesome.
We followed the torch, when they were bringing the torch out around the country.
Oh, you're running along with them.
We did 4 shows.
running around the
Miguel holding a snare, just trying to hit it in time, running.
God, Tribe sound terrible. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Oh God, we did those. I remember it was a big money ticket. We're you got to do it, even though it's it's a big corporate thing. You got to do it. And we did somewhere in Leeds, where we were on before Friendly Fires.
Wow.
And just after us was that Diversity. You remember that dance group from?
Oh yeah, the one that TV program.
Talent?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were the ones that were going to bring the torch out. So we were on just before the torch, and so there was 110,000 people there.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, 109,000 of those people were fucking bored.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, pretty mad to look out on, 100,000 people in a field.
Yeah, that's insane.
But,
they were there for the torch. Let's face it.
Yeah, but that's cool though, man.
Yeah,
that's
it was cool. It felt pretty wild. But I still prefer playing the Scala.
Oh, my headphones are dying. That's what the sound was. I've got one ear left and it's about to go. So that's going to have to be the end of the pod.
I mean, I need to get out of this. I can't imagine what it's like for you under a duvet, Mike.
Dude, it sucks. I literally look like I've been swimming.
All right.
Cool.
Love you, dudes.
All right.
Peace.
Hope everyone enjoyed this. Love everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum.